Portions of America First are brought to you in part by America's Forgotten and Salem Now.
As well as the great Mike Lindell. What a patriot, what a truth teller. Great support. This isn't PBS, this isn't NPR. We don't get $500 million from you every year. This is a free market enterprise. Support us by supporting our advertisers, especially Mike. They're trying to destroy him. They're trying to cancel his company. 24 corporations are boycotting MyPillow. Go straight to his website. Send the fascistic cancel culture leftists a message and order his more than 100 US-made products directly. Because you're listening to this show, Mike's a friend of mine. He's going to give you more than 60% off. Even if you got one of his MyPillows, buy something else. The mattress toppers, the pet beds, the Giza Dream Sheets. Buy another pillow for your granny. Support this man right now. MyPillow.com, promo code GORKA, or just call his lovely team, 800-829-8468, 800-829-8468, MyPillow. That was far too fast. You've got to tell me when I'm speaking too fast, Shad. Slow down, Gorka. 800-829-8468. MyPillow.com, promo code GORKA. What's good about being in the swamp? Not much. Not much at all, except one thing. We can get important people in studio. We can get newly elected members of Congress, especially fighters for freedom, fighters for the truth, like Illinois' 15th District's Congresswoman Mary Miller. Welcome in studio, Congresswoman Miller.
Well, thank you. It's great to be here.
And don't come in lying to me in the break that you're nervous. I don't believe it for a second.
Well, I'm fresh from the farm. I'm not the seasoned politician that you might usually get.
Well, we don't like seasoned politicians. We hate that. That's the definition of a swamp creature, isn't it?
Well, I'm tempted to wear my gumboots out here one of these days.
No, how about the waders? Let's get some, like the fishing waders.
I've had practice recognizing, you know what, on the farm.
Oh, I bet you can tell the different quality of manure and how much there is in this city, and there's a lot of it. But you can't be nervous. There's only 3 million listeners and however many viewers we have. Is this true? I've got your bio here, and I'm sure all of it's right, except one thing must be a typo. There's no way in Illinois' 15th district you got 73% of the vote.
I did.
This is shockingly exciting.
My district is the productive district in Illinois.
You're the ones that make stuff, do stuff.
We make stuff, productive agricultural economy, and people with common sense.
Oh, we love that. So you must be having a really great time in this city then.
Well, actually, I'm encouraged by the freshman class.
Okay.
It's a great group, diverse people, or from diverse backgrounds, not politicians. I think they're the type of people that our founding fathers intended to take a turn representing their districts.
No, I think some of the new faces, Lauren Bobbert and yourself, are bringing a breath of fresh air. We have to discuss some of the amazing things that you're doing on the Agriculture Committee and Education and Labor, especially with this bill that you've presented. But it looks like they've got the votes today. Talk to us, if you will, for the last 2 minutes in this segment, Congresswoman Miller. The COVID relief bill, this basically has nothing to do with COVID, does it?
Oh, it's insane. Well, and the fact that we have $1 trillion that's unspent. Already, and now we're going to add to our debt, which is getting close to $30 trillion. And I'm a mom and a grandma. I am here because I'm concerned about what we're leaving our children. And you're not free if you are saddled with this kind of debt. And also, just the committees that I'm on, the amendments that we offered, the Democrats would not accept one amendment.
Not one.
And those amendments were bringing accountability and reasonableness. For example, one that I presented was if you're going to get, I believe they've gotten $169 billion more for the schools.
Yes.
My amendment was if you are not going to open the schools, parents should be allowed to take that money to hire tutors or go to an alternative
Genius.
Or a private school. Yeah, how novel is that?
Right.
But
give them the choice if the money's been approved.
Yeah, the fact that over 40% of our public school students still are not in, we are widening the gap eventually between the haves and the have-nots. And all this talk about equality, this is a bunch of baloney. And
so you made that recommendation to let parents choose if the schools are closed, and what happened?
That they could be allowed to take that money.
What happened to your recommendation?
Oh, it was voted down party lines.
We've got 30 seconds left in this segment. One question. Have you found anyone in your short time on Capitol Hill, on the other side that's reasonable and you can talk to?
No.
Wow. All right. More from somebody who's one of the new team members. Follow her right now. Rep Mary. Don't put those away. You're not done. She thinks she's done. Where does she think she's going? Honestly, you don't get to do 7 minutes of radio once we dragged you in here. You'll be here for the next 3 hours. No, just for the next 30 minutes. Stay there. I'm Sebastian Gorka. This is America First on the Salem Radio Network. We're living under a Biden-Harris administration. What does it mean for your finances? More debt? More regulation, more money printing, less growth, and higher taxes. The importance of owning physical gold and silver has never been greater. Call the veteran-owned Midas Gold Group today to get their guide to owning bullion and coins. Call 480-360-3000 or go to MidasGoldGroup.com.
They're children today, but they could easily be terrorists tomorrow. As embarrassing and as painful it would be for Biden administration, they need to understand that what Trump did on the border worked.
Yes, but will they be terrorists as effective as the ones we saw on 1/6 when they took our capital?
Brian Williams calling the events of January the 6th terrorism. And by the way, he was reading. You could tell he was reading off something prepared for him. He didn't come up with that asinine comment himself. Just a little reminder. This is the same Brian Williams. Cut 14.
2 of our 4 helicopters were hit by ground fire, including the one I was in.
No kidding.
RPG and AK-47.
No, they weren't. You're a liar. And he's still doing it now. Calling those who protested on the 6th, had no weapons, terrorists. It's about narrative. Watch out, my friends. We are back with our special guest, Congresswoman Mary Miller, Illinois' 15th District. Before we get back to what she's doing on Capitol Hill to stop the craziness, please note what's happening on the border is being covered up. They don't want to talk about it. Jen Psaki is not answering questions. Biden still hasn't held a press conference. You need to know the truth. Watch our latest movie. It's called America's Forgotten, by somebody who was pro-immigration, was from a Democrat family, registered Democrat, Namrata Singh Gujral. When she investigated what's really going on, well, she found out the truth, and then her family wanted to disown her. They had to anonymize the credits on the film to stop retribution. You need to see what she found out. Watch it today at salemnow.com. It's called America's Forgotten, the truth of what's happening on the border. Get 20% off if you use my name, Gorka. That's salemnow.com, promo code Gorka for America's Forgotten. Congresswoman Miller, one of the special reasons, I think I saw you January the 6th. Right? Did I see you?
You did.
At the Ellipse.
Actually, now my husband, who's a legislator in Illinois, he was there with constituents, and they're now accusing him of leading the insurrection. And he had a meeting with the Democrats in Illinois. They want to remove him from the legislature.
Wow. What's your husband's name so people can...
Chris Miller.
Chris Miller. Show your support for Chris Miller. Find out if you are living in Illinois. Express your opinion of those who are trying to tarnish that man's good name. Follow this lady, Rep. Mary Miller. The reason I wanted you specifically in studio, and thank you for joining us, is this incredible push that you've initiated against the insanity of the transgender agenda. You've come up with something called the Safety and Opportunity for Girls Act. Why did you feel you had to do that?
Well, first of all, I'm the mom of 5 daughters and 7 granddaughters.
Oh, my
and
gosh.
Not just that, but my heart is for children. And I have come out here, and even before, one of the reasons I came is the left claims to represent all people. But, they're leaving out anybody that holds to traditional American values. And so I proposed this bill called the Safety and Opportunity for Girls Act. And the purpose of my bill was to make it clear that sex in Title IX is defined by biological and biology and genetics.
So let's be clear here. Title IX was meant to give equality of the sexes, to help girls, especially in sports. Now they're saying retroactively that we don't mean being a real girl. We mean whether you think you're a girl and then you will be treated as one. Well, then what happens to the protections of biological girls who want to be in the dressing rooms by themselves?
Well, exactly. This is going to be forced on all Americans, on all schools, any sex-segregated places. So even women's shelters, it's going to affect adoption agencies. They're either going to have to abandon their beliefs or they're going to have to close down. I mean, this is going to have far-reaching impact, and also it's going to be the end of girls' athletics. I mean, it's so simple to see that the consequences of this is going to be dire.
Well, my daughter was a rower. She'd get up at 4:30, be on the water at 6, at 5:36, and then you're going to say that somebody who's vested 3-4 years of her life training, suddenly a guy can come along and say, oh, I'm a female rower or I'm a female track athlete, and crush their records. On this, I have to ask you, are you finding anybody on the other side who say, yeah, this is a little crazy?
Well, I'm hearing rumors that some of them don't actually go along with
it. But they're not telling you.
Well, they're secretly telling members, but they're voting with Pelosi.
Wow.
But it's very radical. I think that Americans are waking up, and we are definitely going to take the House in 2022 because this is just
I think
too
this
much.
is the big issue. I think this is the trigger issue. I think for people who are not political, they're going to say, my daughter, my granddaughter, this is insane. Have you heard from any classic feminists who want to stand up for girls?
Well, exactly. This just didn't happen. This has been coming for a long time. And I want to say, where have you been? Are
you getting any support from the women's groups?
No. It's crickets.
That's incredible.
So, no.
But you're going to keep fighting?
Definitely. Well, we have to fight for our children. And I like to use the word fight.
Well, they use it.
I know. Well, they're hypocrites. Even the titles of all of their bills are ridiculous. The Equality Act, it's the Inequality Act. I mean, COVID relief, that's not about COVID relief.
Well, 9% of it. Let me repeat this for those who missed it earlier. Of the 1.9 trillion, which is 1,000 billion, by the way, if it's hard to keep track, $1,000 billion times 1.9, 9% of it has anything to do with health. Right. I mean, anything. And of the whole bill, 1% goes to vaccines. These are the people who are bringing you the COVID bill. Really, it's to pay back the vested interests that supported the Democrats to get them into office. And second line item, to bail out the bankrupt Democrat states.
Yes.
That's what they're doing with your money. But there are a handful of people fighting back, including our in-studio guest, Representative Mary Miller, who's going to stay with us for one more segment. Thank you, Congresswoman. This is America First on the Salem Radio Network broadcast.
Portions of America First are brought to you by Food for the Poor.
Man, they suck you dry. 3 hours of radio every day isn't enough, plus an extra podcast every week. Now, an exclusive event. The first 20 people to register for the Ask Me Anything event, well, you get to ask me anything. Who my favorite authors are. How did I end up in this position? Thursday, March 18th. It's called the Ask a Host event with Salem. Register today. Only 20 people will be let into this live event. Go to askahost.com. You'll get a free signed copy of my book, The War for America's Soul, and then get to ask me anything after the show. Askahost.com. Register today. Only 20 places for that exclusive event. Okay, Mary Miller is back. Congresswoman from Illinois' 15th district, injecting some common sense back into this crazy city. The question we have to ask all of you brave neophytes, the Freedom Caucus champions, people like Lauren Bobbitt as well, why on earth would you want to take this decision and come to the swamp?
Well, that's a good question, especially given the fact that I'm not a politician. I'm from the farm. I've been involved in teaching, raising 7 kids, and of course now I have 17 grandchildren. I'm concerned. I want our kids to recognize our country, and I want them to have opportunities like we've had to pursue the American dream. And then also, there's two things that are foundational to the well-being of our country. One is social, and that's the family. The family is the foundation, and I'm here to represent family values and the people that feel forgotten and left out that hold to those values. And the other thing is agriculture and small business is foundational to the economic well-being of our country, and I'm here representing that also. I'm, it's a constitutionalist, and also as a Christian, I believe God's left us on earth, and our mission is to look for opportunities to overcome evil with good. So
wow. Nobody talks about that anymore. Evil. There is evil. It lives in men's hearts, and the only victories come when good people take the battle to those who are evil. Last minute, was there an event? Was there something that finally made you decide that as somebody from the farm, you're going to do this? Well,
actually, Bill Montgomery, he started with Charlie Kirk, Turning Point USA. Yeah. He's a friend of mine, and he's the one that really encouraged me. And he said, Mary, we need you. You represent the family. I think he really understood how important to the stability of our society the family is. And so anyway, I'm here to stand for traditional American values.
Well, God bless Bill McMurray, everybody associated with Turning Point USA. I'll be hosting Grant Stinchfield's show on Newsmax tomorrow and Friday. One of my special guests will be Charlie Kirk, and we will be discussing exactly these issues. We need more people like Mary Miller, because that's how this nation was founded. Not by politicians, not by members of the quote-unquote elite, by citizen politicians. We're going to continue a whole hour dedicated to rebuilding the right here with my Salem colleagues on America First. Don't touch that dial.